Welcome to Creativity, Innovation, and Leadership. Our topic for this week is time of entry. Overview. In this topic, we will see that increasing returns suggest that timing of entry to the market can be very important. First movers don't always have that advantage, however. There are a number of advantages and disadvantages to being the first mover, early follower, or late entrant. These categories are defined as follows. First movers are the first entrants to sell in a new product or service category, that is, they are the pioneers. Early followers are early to market but not first. Late entrants do not enter the market until the product begins to penetrate the mass market or later. First mover advantage. A first mover is a firm that takes an initial competitive action. Advantages of first movers. If successful, the firm earns above average returns until other competitors are able to respond effectively. The ability to preempt rivals and capture demands by establishing a strong brand name can be an important factor for the first mover advantage. The ability to build up sales volume in that country can ride down the experience curve ahead of rivals and gain a cost advantage over later entrants. The ability to create switching costs that tie customers into products or services, making it difficult for later entrants to win the business. Brand loyalty and technological leadership. First movers can build a reputation as leader in that area of technology, which can help it maintain a lead even after competition enters the arena. However, first movers often bear disadvantages also. A study of 50 product categories showed that market pioneers have a 47% rate of failure and a mean market share of only 10%. Early followers averaged almost 3 times the market share of the pioneers. The market may often perceive the first movers as having the advantage, but that is because of misconceptions. The first movers in the disposable baby diaper market was Chucks. P&G didn't come on the scene until 30 years later, but because Chucks disappeared, history was reinterpreted and P&G was thought of as the first mover. Other studies show first movers earn greater revenues but lower profits because of the higher R&D expenses, development of supplier and distribution channels, and marketing costs that incur. A later entrant can capitalize on all the groundwork done by the first mover and improve upon it at less expense. The costs of business failures if the firm, due to its ignorance of the foreign environment, makes some major mistakes. The costs of promoting and establishing a product offering, including the cost of educating customers, can sometimes be very high. High research and development expenses. First movers spend money on exploratory research that results in failure because achieving success as well as developing complementary goods and markets can be expensive. Undeveloped supply and distribution channels. A new to the world technology often has no appropriate suppliers or distributors. The first mover has to develop and produce on their own or assist others in the development and production of the needed supplies. Decca needed a ball bearing no one else produced. They developed the machine to produce the ball bearings. Immature enabling technologies and components. PDA or personal development assistant developers had created full palm-sized devices, but the battery and modem technologies needed to support the PDAs were not developed enough. Uncertainty of customer requirements. Since there is no way to know what features customers will want from a new technology and how much they will pay for them, first movers may have to revise their offerings when they get customers' feedback. In the 1980s, Kodak introduced the 8mm video camera, expecting a large number of customers due to its design and quality. They were too expensive and customers had not recognized a need for them, so Kodak withdrew them from the market. By the early 1990s, customers were ready for the product and other competitors had entered the market by then. Second mover advantage. A second mover is a firm that responds to the first mover's competitive action, often through imitation or a move designed to encounter the effects of initial action. Advantages of second movers. Reduction in demand uncertainty, market research to improve satisfying customer needs, learnings from the first mover's success and shortcomings, gaining time for R&D to develop a superior product. The disadvantages of second movers are loss of opportunity to establish brand loyalty. If significant learning curve is achieved through moving first, then giving up competitive advantage would be a disadvantage for the second mover. This slide shows who actually wins in the end, the first mover or the follower. In many categories, you will see that it is actually the follower who is winning. For example, the 8mm video camera was launched by Kodak. However, Sony was the winner in the market even though it was a follower. Similarly, in the space of personal computers, MITS was the pioneer. However, Apple and IBM followed and later on won the battle. Factors influencing optimal timing of entry. How does a firm decide whether to attempt to pioneer a technology category or to wait while others do so? The answer will depend on several factors, including how certain are customer preferences. When new to the world technologies are first developed, customers may have difficulty understanding the technology and its role in their life, which features are important and which are unnecessary and unclear to producer and customers. Early e-commerce websites included exciting graphics and sounds to make themselves competitive. Due to lack of high-speed internet and powerful PCs by most customers, these features annoyed the customer. In fact, because video game consoles are sold at cost or less to build an install base, with profits coming from game sales, the CD/DVD feature was so desirable that it was bought more for that feature than to play games. Sony lost money because few customers bought games. Their strategy backfired. Microsoft learned from this mistake and disabled the DVD playback feature on the Xbox unless customers purchased an add-on DVD playback kit. If customer needs are well understood, it is more feasible to enter the market earlier. Some innovations are developed in response of a well understood customer need. The developers of Tegament, medication for chronic heartburn or ulcers, faced little uncertainty. Customers wanted an affordable, easy to use solution to their discomfort. Once developed and approved, the developers raced the product to the market in hopes of patenting it and securing market share. How much improvements does the innovation provide over previous solutions? An innovation that offers a dramatic improvement over previous generations will accrue more rapid customer acceptance as its value will be appreciated by the customers. Does the innovation require enabling technologies, and are these technologies sufficiently mature? If the innovation requires enabling technologies such as long-lasting batteries for mobile phones, the maturity of these technologies will influence optimal timing of entry. More mature enabling technologies allow early entry. Less mature enabling technologies may favor waiting for enabling technologies to be further developed. Do complementary goods influence the value of innovation, and are they significantly available? Not all innovations require complementary goods, but for those that do, for example, games for video consoles, availability of complements will influence customer acceptance. How high is the threat of competitive entry? If there are significant entry barriers, there may be less need to rush to market to build increasing returns ahead of others. If the threat of competitive entry is high, the firm may need to enter earlier to establish brand image, capture market share, and secure relationship with suppliers and distributors. Can the firm withstand early losses? The first movers bear the bulk of R&D expenses and may endure a significant period without revenues at the beginning of the S-curve. The earlier a firm enters, the more capital resources it may need. Go and Momenta developed technologically advanced PDAs but couldn't withstand the long market confusion about PDAs and ran out of capital. IBM and Compaq survived because they were large and diversified. Palm was late entry, so it did not have a long takeoff period, but even so, it was forced to seek outside capital. Firms with significant resources may be able to more easily catch up to earlier entrants. Nestle was very late to enter the freeze-dried coffee market, but used its substantial resources to develop a superior product and rapidly build market awareness. This enabled it to quickly overtake the lead by GF's Maxim. Does the firm have resources to accelerate market acceptance? Firms with significant capital resources can invest in aggressive marketing and supplier and distributor development, increasing the rate of early adoption. Is the firm's reputation likely to reduce the uncertainty of customers, suppliers, and distributors? Innovations from well-respected firms may be adopted more rapidly, enabling earlier successful entry. Customers, suppliers, and distributors will use the firm's track record to assess its technological expertise and market prowess. When Microsoft announced its entry into video game console industry, despite having little experience in producing hardware, suppliers and distributors eagerly agreed to work with Microsoft because of its track record in personal computing. This marks the end of this chapter. Thank you.